What are some easy ways you can save money in the garden? Well, here are a whole bunch of garden hacks that you can do for free. So if you want to be a better and more cost-effective gardener, sit back, hit that full screen button, and let's dig in. The first one's such a fantastic example to start with because I haven't found a single store-bought item that solves this problem better than this free hack. And that's anytime we're growing a climbing plant like peas or beans, one problem that they can sometimes run into is making their way up to just the first rung of whatever trellis that we have bought or built for them. Now, what works incredibly well in this circumstance is some dead tree or bush prunings. Once you take the leaves off, this is an incredible structure that we're giving these beans to help climb up to get to the first 1 or 2 rungs of the trellis. If you look closely at some of the tall vertical structures in my yard, you'll notice that I actually do this quite a bit. The next one is great for the fringe seasons, or if you live in a colder climate and want to grow plants that require some warmer soil temps, you can use sheet rocks placed at the base of plants such as pumpkins and squash and zucchinis that really do need that soil heat. This throughout the day will absorb a whole lot of sun and help keep the soil warm around it. The next one's a great way to do some recycling. Anytime I'm starting seeds now, I sow the seeds in the tray, give them a good water, and then I'm covering it with a plastic bag, a takeaway plastic lid, or even just covering it with cardboard works well. Now you do have to just check this once a day. Once you have most of your seedlings emerged, that's when you then do need to take it off and make sure that they get some sun. But covering them like this helps to lock in the moisture and will also help you get some much more consistent germinations, as opposed to sometimes you might start seeds and only get seedlings emerging in 2 or 3 cells. This will help you get nearly the full tray going. Now, if you're having troubles with slugs or snails and you don't want to build a full snail trap, or you don't want to buy a snail hotel, an option that works nearly as well as both of those is just taking a spare plank of wood and lying it diagonally up against a garden bed. Now, slugs and snails, even though your stuff might be getting eaten in your garden bed, they will more than likely always return to the pass in search of other food and shelter. If you leave this here, you will come out nearly every morning, flip it over, and there will be a host of slugs and snails here that you can then remove. And if you're having some problems with slugs and snails, if you come out and do this once a day for a couple weeks to a month, you will really start to get that population down and bring it a lot more under control. The next one is the best seedling watering device money can buy, or can't buy because it's free, and that is honestly just any bottle where you drill or punch holes in the lid. Honestly, my first 5 or so years gardening, this is literally all I use to water my seedlings. And the only reason that I stopped using this is I needed just a bigger capacity. So if you have a bigger bottle, it might just be the only seedling watering can you need. The next one's more of a technique than anything, but if you're like me and a lazy gardener, this will save you so much time and effort. And that is, make sure to keep an eye on the weather, and anytime a big rainstorm is about to come, that is the perfect time to go out and fertilize your garden. The reason is that with most, say, liquid fertilizers, which is what I'm generally using once every couple weeks around the garden to help just keep the plants really nice and boosted. But the only downside to this is because we have to measure it out and put it in a watering can, and then this will only do about 1/3 to half of my garden. Actually going around and fertilizing everything is a fairly time-consuming and laborious process that I hate. But what you can do is, if it's about to rain, you get to just up the dose to 3 or 4 times the recommended dose per 9 liters. And then you get to go around with your more concentrated mix, ideally only about an hour or so before the rain actually gets here. Water your whole garden. It takes literally 1/4 of the time to fertilize everything. And then because they're getting a massive drink after it, the plants love it. The next one I do all the time, and that is recycling my plastics to use as seedling protectors. One of the most common issues that you can encounter when planting out your seedlings is walking out 1 or 2 days later and the entire plant is just missing because it's been eaten by some sort of pest. Nowadays, I nearly never transplant something without doing this, and that's using something like a big plastic container or even a recycled plastic bottle cut in half to cover up the seedlings for the first couple nights. It is important that if you are transplanting during really hot times of the year. Definitely don't leave them like this during the day. I would just come out and take them off and then just put it back on at night, because nighttime is when it's a lot more likely to be eaten by snails, slugs, pill bugs, that sort of thing. The next one you've probably come across before, but there's an additional step I don't see a whole lot of people talking about. And that's using old toilet roll holders as little seedling trays. And the great thing about these is that once your seedling sprouts and is ready to get transplanted, you get to just take the whole thing out and put it in the garden. But what a lot of people don't realize is that one of the easiest ways to handle this is to actually just put it in a recycled container and fill the whole thing up with soil as well. This will help keep the bottom of this nice and wet. It will also mean that if your roots in here are starting to get to the point where they are trying to escape, they will actually have somewhere to go, but it's still really easy to just pull them apart. And besides being easy to handle, it also means that it's starting to actually break down the cardboard before it even gets in your garden, so that there is absolutely zero reason to not do this. I know a couple farmers that literally still do this for their own plants. Like, this is hardly even a hack, this is just good advice. Now, I do get an awful lot of comments asking about dealing with slugs and snails, so I'll give you another tip. Unfortunately, I can't demo this one too well, but if you have any sort of thorny plants around, such as blackberries or roses, or if you just have really thorny brambles all around your place, which is so funny because when I moved in here, it was actually a huge problem along the back fence. These were everywhere and they took forever to get rid of. And now that I kind of want some, they're not there. But you can take these, cut them out so that you have just the stalk left, and then you can lay these in a perimeter around any seedlings, and that will stop snails and slugs actually getting to your seedlings because they don't want to crawl over. Now, before we get to our last hack, which is actually going to be 3 separate hacks in one, if you have liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Tell me about your favorite one, or tell me about another cost-saving hack that you know that you think maybe could add to this list, and maybe I'll try and make a second video with all those suggestions. If you watched a few of my videos and you enjoyed them, please make sure to hit subscribe and maybe even turn on the bell notification to make sure that YouTube shows you all of my videos, because even if you're just a subscriber, you don't necessarily get shown them, which is a bit annoying. Or if you really want to help the channel, consider checking out the Patreon, or even give me a super thanks on YouTube, which some of you have started doing anyway. So thank you so much for that. It means an awful lot. All right, now back to the video. All right, never, ever, never, never, ever, ever pay out of pocket for these plastic plant seedling labels. One of the things that I'm worried about with my videos is that you probably see me using these all the time, and you might think that that means that they're a good product. They're not. These all suck. They are never reusable because they always, look, this one's cracking now. They always snap. Not even when you're touching them, just by being out in the sun, they just go so brittle and always fall apart. I have never paid out of pocket for these. I always just get them as part of like kits or gift bags of other things. If I didn't have these, the 2 things that I would use instead are, 1, I would just use the wooden paddle pops, the sticks that you get inside ice cream that you can also get from a $2 store for about $2,000 for a couple dollars. Those work perfectly fine, and they're wooden, so that once you use them, you can just throw them in the compost. Perfectly recyclable. The other thing that you can do instead of buying these plastic ones is if you have any yogurt, sour cream containers, butter containers, anything that is that nice white plastic, you can actually cut up to just be the same size as one of these. And then just using a permanent marker on them, they work perfectly fine. Shove them in your seed tray, and then even if it does the same thing as all of these and break after the first use, at least you've recycled something first. That is the full video, so thank you very much. Please make sure to hit like or consider checking out the Patreon. Thank you. Bye.